Imagine that ship one day, one time, came to shores and just wreaked havoc. Like, just see these complete contrasts coming towards you. In your head, they literally look like barbarians. He's got a naturally freakishly deep voice. It's clicking in my head right now. I don't know if I'm gonna leave this in the video because this is gonna be a little mini rant. Nah, I'm not even gonna say it.
Oh no.
I'm really talking about my own countrymen right here. Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you're having a great day. My name is Jay and you're watching Cloud of Reactions. So we just got done listening to the Swedish Pagan live concert version and oh my god, banger for sure. And the girl, Tina, I learned her name. Her name was Tina Guo or Guo. I know I'm butchering the name. All I did was look it up. I didn't hear it again. So sorry, but I mean, wow. Talented for sure. Definitely see why she was nominated for a Grammy. I don't know if she won the Grammy. If she didn't, it's a damn shame because that was really good. We're gonna go and jump into the history portion of this video. Please leave a like, please leave a comment. If you don't like the video, that's okay. Just don't dislike the video. But you can leave a comment. That's something you can do whether you like it or dislike it. I really love comments. Anyways, okay, shut up. Intros, history video, keep it short. Hop right on in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have...
Why? Why do we have Tommy Johansson? I'm seeing him everywhere all of a sudden. Different musics of him. I'm doing his band, and now he's taking over the History Channel too. Is he taking over my channel right now? Is Tommy Johansson taking over my channel? Oh my god.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special treat in store for you today.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I am sitting right now with one of the best guitarists in Sabaton.
And that's me, Tommy Johansson, and you are watching Sabaton History Channel.
It gladdens me to know that Odin makes ready the benches for a banquet. Soon we shall be drinking ale from the curved horns. The champion who comes into Valhalla does not lament his death. I shall not enter his hall with words of fear upon my lips. The gods will welcome me. Death comes without lamenting. Eager am I to depart. The Valkyries summon me home, those whom Odin sends for me from the halls of the Lord of Hosts. Gladly shall I drink ale in the high seat with the gods. The days of my life are ended. I laugh as I die. The saga
Only a Viking.
of Ragnar Lothbrok. For a long time, the early history of Northern Europe was shrouded by a fog of mystery. There was a marked gap in knowledge of Europe in the years between the fall of the Roman Empire and the full spread of Christianity. And this era was simply accepted as an era before general literacy, when Northern Europe was ruled by savage and fearsome heathens. Those heathens, however, did leave behind their sagas, their tales of great adventures and battles. Scandinavian archaeologists of the 19th century were confronted with a confusing jigsaw puzzle of burial mounds, cryptic runestones, and medieval scriptures. But then in 1880, a breakthrough was at hand with the discovery of the Gokstad Mound in Norway. In a ship buried 1,000 years earlier, next to a large pile of shields, swords, and jewelry, lay a man that reignited the interest in a long-forgotten age. He was huge for his time, over 180 centimeters tall, a chieftain who had most likely met a violent death in battle, the embodiment of a Viking. You know, for a long time,
I wonder, they're probably going to mention it, but I wonder if those ships, where are they at? Are they still in like Norway and Denmark? Like, are they on display? Like, where'd they move them to? Are they like in a museum? That'd be really interesting. Oh man, imagine that ship. Imagine that ship one day, one time came to shores and just wreaked havoc. And now look at it, it's like 1,000 years later, it's decrepit, it's aged. But at one point, I think it was, you looked at that and fear was struck into you.
Scandinavian scholars had seen the Viking Age as the end phase of the Germanic Iron Age. Too little was known to be precise, and even the word Viking was of questionable origin. Most historians refer to the Old English word vikinga, which was repeatedly used to reference warriors coming from the sea in Anglo-Saxon chronicles. It was also the British who gave their history a distinct local Viking age, right? From the first violent raids on their shores in 793 to the Battle of Hastings in 1066. If we asked a Swedish pagan in those times where his origins lay, we might have gotten an answer similar to those we'd get from the Icelandic Edda, a compendium of Norse folktales, that once there was a time where worlds were not only divided by light and darkness, but by deep chasms from which the giants ruled, until Odin, the all-father of the gods, slew the giant Ymir, whose flesh gave birth to the land and whose blood turned into the sea. On their journeys and in war, the pagans looked to Odin for guidance and blessings. He was the god of war, who sends his favor to the bravest of them. But, like the Vikings themselves, Odin was not single-minded. He was also the god of poetry and the god of wisdom. Once he sacrificed his own eye to bring pagans the knowledge of the language of the runes. Such runestones can still be found all over Scandinavia, and although the pagans were otherwise illiterate, they give us a little insight into important people or local customs. Outside of battle, the pagans honored Thor, the god of thunder. As the patron of the farmers, he rode the sky in his chariot, bringing thunder and lightning down as a sign of power. Scandinavian metalworkers crafted jewels.
I thought that would be like, he'd be the sign for farmers because like thunder, lightning, following that would be water, rain for farmers, but I guess not.
Jewelry and amulets in the form of Thor's mighty hammer to attract his protective powers. It was the belief of the pagans that the worlds of gods and men were connected, and although the fate of each man had been decided at his birth, the gods could still intervene and change fates along the way. And the northern gods were no super ethical or morally upright beings. They were flawed and at times even treacherous and ruthless in the pursuit of their goals. They watched and they cheered as men toiled and struggled, and it became the pagan way to live with this feeling of cosmic order and worldly chaos, of predestined fate and yet personal responsibility. Showing courage, taking risks, the will to sacrifice, all these were essential parts of Norse culture. There was no place for weakness or cowardice because everyday life in Scandinavia was harsh. Far away from the civilizations that had been touched by the Roman Empire, it was hardly the place to sustain a laid-back lifestyle. People stayed loyal to their communities through personal oaths, and laws manifested themselves through societal pressure. Deals, threats, and promises had to be made in public so that no party could back out without bringing shame on their name and their family. In the dark winter months of Scandinavia,
it was just a code, I guess, the Viking code. Like, you're gonna stand up for yours. Do not be a coward. If you're a coward, you're pretty much shunned out. They'll probably kick you out of the settlement. I don't know. They don't want warriors like that in their settlement. They don't want fear in their settlement. They don't want cowards.
Each man was obliged to show hospitality to his fellows, which resulted in feasts that often lasted for days. There, poets and musicians, skalds, recited and sang tall tales of their revered ancestors, of the gods, and of their heroes. It inspired men to make a name for themselves, so that the skalds would one day sing of their deeds as well. The bravest of them might even find a way to ascend into the halls of the gods themselves. Life on Scandinavia's coast made the Norsemen top-notch seafarers. They invented the keel, which was quite the nautical breakthrough as it allowed ships to cross oceans. Their famous longships were sleek and sturdy ships, perfect for traveling large rivers. With such ships, the men ventured out. Some wanted to trade, others sought a new place to live, a few were exiled or on the run, but the bravest and the hungriest of them all, they went Viking. The world was laid out in front of them, and it was theirs for the taking. The Danes and Norwegians ventured south and west. With fire and sword, they raided across the Frankish coast and deep into Charlemagne's realm. Here, they became the ferocious Northmen, and their impact on Frankish society was immense. Tall and broad pagan warriors fought and slaughtered their way through northern France. The Christians saw them as...
I'm not gonna say they're modern day Spartans, but if you're like in England or you know, if they're like the people over there that they started raiding, and these are like the little peasants. You got like people like little Christian monks and stuff like that. People that are kind of more soft soft people. Then you look at these guys, they're all chiseled, hairy, huge, just built. Probably just dirty because I don't know, babe. I don't know how hygienic they were. They probably didn't care. They probably just did like a basic wash. But just see these complete contrasts coming towards you. In your head, they literally look like barbarians because they're just like not sane, not nice looking people. And then them, they're just like, you know what? We're just not having fun, but like we're just doing what we're doing. This is just our lifestyle.
As gods fought and slaughtered their way through northern France, the Christians saw them as God's punishments, as harbingers of the apocalypse. Each successful raid attracted more pagans to the Viking lifestyle, though, and especially imposing chieftains became sea kings, lords without a country, but with enough money and power to lead expeditions in pursuit of plunder. Their seemingly endless ambitions took them up the River Seine to lay siege to Paris itself. Other sea kings went further west, towards Britannia and Ireland. From the first raids on Anglo-Saxon monasteries to the full-scale invasion, a great heathen army landed in 865 and plundered and raided its way from Northumbria to Wessex and threatened to take over all of England and turn it into Daneland. Heroes larger than life had appeared. Legends like that of Ragnar Lothbrok, Thorgils the Devil, or Ivar the
I know his son, like Ivar the Boneless and Bjorn Ironside. But I thought the story behind Ragnar Lothbrok, I thought that was more of like they weren't sure if he was more legend compared to like real. They seem to be taking it as he's real, so I'll go by that.
And turn it into Daneland. Heroes larger than life had appeared. Legends like that of Ragnar Lothbrok, Thorgils the Devil, or Ivar the Boneless. Skalds sang of unshakable shield maidens, or the secret warrior brotherhoods, like the Jomsvikings in the Baltic Sea. And another popular tale was that of Rurik and the Rus. While the Vikings from the shores of Denmark and Norway usually traveled westwards, the Swedish pagans went south and east, across the Baltic Sea. Archaeological evidence shows that the Swedes had formed colonies in Courland and on the Baltic coast as early as 750. Swedish Vikings soon took over a major fort at Lake Ladoga, which opened the way to the vast river network of Western Russia. But unlike the British or Frankish shores, there were few riches to be found there. No monasteries or wealthy towns to be plundered, so they traveled southward in their sleek longships, sliding down the Volga and Dnieper towards the realms even beyond the Black Sea, laden with goods like amber, swords, honey, tusks, furs, or wax. They sought to exchange them for silver and silks. Most profitable, however, was the slave trade. Captured Slavic girls were sold for high prices in the slave markets of the Byzantine Empire in exchange for Greek or Arabian coin. Navigation down the major rivers was hazardous and the surrounding country treacherous. Semi-nomadic tribes like the Khazars watched the Northmen with suspicion. Many other tribes saw the Vikings as intruders, and there was never a guarantee that even those who had shown them hospitality on the way south might not lay in ambush on the way back. But this was the Viking way. Scandinavian merchants traveled with their bodyguards, a sworn group of men, armed to the teeth and united in their belief that they could only trust each other. The journey was long, and many did not return, but those who did so as rich men. The writings of Islamic and Byzantine scholars tell us of these men, who called themselves the Rus or Varangians. I have seen the Rus as they came on their merchant journeys and encamped by the Volga. I have never seen more perfect physical specimens. Tall as date palms, blonde and ruddy, they wear neither tunics nor kaftans, but the men wear a garment which covers one side of the body and leaves a hand free. Each man has an axe, a sword, and a knife, and keeps each by him at all times. The swords are broad and grooved, of Frankish sort. Every man is tattooed from fingernails to neck with dark green or blue-black trees, figures, etc. It is the custom of the king of the Rus to have with him in his palace 400 men, the bravest of his companions and those on whom he can rely. These are the men who die with him and let themselves be killed for him.
Oh.
The name Rus probably stemmed from the term ruotsi, a name the Finns gave the Swedes. It simply translates to men who row, which is, after all, pretty accurate, right? Those Rus traveled from the far north down to Constantinople, which they called Miklagard, the great city. A group of Varangians even served the Byzantine emperor as warriors for hire. Others traveled even further, down the Caspian Sea towards Baku, the city of fire. That trading route, although very dangerous, was also extremely profitable. Back in Scandinavia, archaeologists have found hordes of foreign gold coins and even rings made of ivory.
Wow.
Over time, the Swedish Vikings of the Rus and Varangians built outposts and colonies along the way. They joined forces with the local clans and made alliances against common enemies. Over the decades, the Rus mixed with the locals, adapted local customs, wore their colorful kaftans, and their chieftains called themselves Khans. They often converted to Judaism or Christianity, and it was they who eventually laid the foundation for the Kievan Rus, the realm that Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus all claim as their forefathers, their cultural ancestors. Nowadays, Vikings...
Is that so? Did not know that.
For the Kievan Rus, the realm that Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus all claim as their forefathers, their cultural ancestors.
Whoa.
Nowadays, Vikings are more popular than ever. I don't think anyone back in the 19th century would have predicted that early Scandinavian culture would rise to such prominence. In fact, I think they would be very, very surprised.
They'd be disturbed. See, that's what... When people celebrate Vikings today, they're not celebrating what they did. They just celebrate more of their, like, being rough, living outdoors, the code of their brother, you know, the warriors, keeping your word. But it's just, that's probably why. It's not what they did, it's more of just them, their story. The gods that they believed in as well. That's what the interest is. It's not like people are, like, looking at Vikings today and like, dang, I wish I was a Viking. You know, I wish I could go and plunder cities, because that means killing people, breaking and pillaging and such. Nobody wants that. But I know I'm on a tangent about that. There's some things where people go in the past and they see something, they like it, so they bring it back today. Then people are like, oh no, you want to revert to that time. It's like, no, I just like the subject and the subject around them, the culture and such. Doesn't mean I want that time to come back. I don't know. People are just stupid as hell nowadays.
In fact, I think they would be very, very surprised.
The fire inside is ignited by bloodshed in the circus from north. Will it be as was said? Will the serpent be woken? And will hell...
So, Tommy...
I'll say, what song am I listening to? Because that didn't sound familiar, but it's because I listened to the live version. I listened to the concert version, so I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Will the serpent be woken? And will hell...
So, Tommy, first of all, I gotta say, it's a real honor for me to be able to sit here with, literally, I mean, we're not kidding, one of the best guitarists in Sabaton.
I can imagine how you feel.
Can you?
Yeah.
Because it's an awesome feel, and it's great to have you on the show. I hope it wasn't too much trouble flying in and all with COVID and stuff. And,
it was a bit of a hazard, but I mean, I'm here now, so it's all in the past. I'm just glad to be a part of the show.
Well, and it's also because it's a special episode. That's why we wanted something really special. Because, now you might not know this, but this is actually true. Swedish Pagans is likely, I haven't counted, but every single time people write Swedish Pagans, I think it's possibly the most requested song that we do an episode about.
Really?
Which is interesting because it's a bonus track.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, how do you feel about the song?
Well, it's one of the most requested songs live.
Yeah.
So,
but
the intro, it's really catchy. I mean, it's not just that people like the song. Of course, it's a really good song, but it's that. I don't know, maybe it instills some camaraderie in people, or a sense of warrior in everybody.
Well, it's one of the most requested songs live.
Yeah.
So,
but why is that? Why do you think people have this thing for it?
Well, because it's a great song.
And he's all like...
And it's a great song.
Yeah.
And then why is it a bonus track then? Why wasn't it a proper track?
Well, to be completely honest, Indy.
Yeah.
I was not a part of Sabaton. Completely honest, Indy.
Yeah.
I was not a part of Sabaton when that song was written.
But you must know the tales whispered on the night winds.
And those tales are legends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so make one up.
Oh, okay. So here it is. They thought that this song, no one is gonna like this song. So, but we recorded the song, so they put it on the album as a bonus track, and thought, well, no one will recognize this song or remember this song or even listen to it. But then people started to listen to it, and the rumors are starting to spread all over the land about this one song, the song of all songs, called Swedish Pagans, and it reached the crowd during a Sabaton show. Someone in the distance, the singer of all songs, would sing, oh, and people would turn around and say, hey, I know that melody from that bonus track. And they start to sing along. And the band on stage were standing there like, what? They're singing this song?
Yeah.
This bonus track? What is this? And do we know that song? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's play it.
Yeah.
And from that day on, the song was played on every Sabaton show, almost.
For good reason. What's going on here?
So when you joined the band, what was
That's not a mosh pit, is it? Because isn't a mosh pit when people get really together and it gets like people on top of people? I don't really know what a mosh pit is, to be honest with you. But that's weird how it's just a circle with nobody in it. The other video for the live concert, they were doing like a circle. Now this one, there was nobody in the circle. It was just one guy. So I don't know. What's up with that? I don't know.
the first song, not songs that you guys were coming, new songs, what was the first old song that you had that you learned, like maybe for a tryout or maybe
I don't remember because, I mean, I was listening a lot to Sabaton.
You're gonna say I was really high.
Tommy says no, the new hashtag.
Yeah.
Use it and you will stay away from drugs.
Yeah, use that hashtag to stay away from drugs.
Yes.
I'm glad we had this time. So anyway.
Okay, yeah. So I knew a lot of Sabaton songs actually.
He's got a naturally freakishly deep voice. I just, it's clicking in my head right now how he really sounds. Like just naturally. This is just him. Just regular setting, casual conversation. So in The Light, he was hitting some highs and lows. And I think I just did Metal United. His voice was not deep. It was more of a, it was very kind of like not a high pitch. I don't know, but it was not. So the whole song he did a whole different tone of voice, because that not once I don't think in the song was he had a really deep bassy voice in the song. And this in the whole video so far, he's got a freaking deep voice.
So anyway.
Okay, yeah. So I knew a lot of Sabaton songs actually. I don't remember because I got all the songs and they told me listen to these guitar files because I had Tobias guitars.
Sure.
So I listened to them and started to learn the songs. But most of them I knew already,
right.
the basics for. But I think the one I really started to learn, properly was to learn the proper way how to play it was Atero Dominatus.
Okay, wow. Cool.
Yeah, because it's one of my favorite Sabaton songs from the old days. So I learned to play that, and to be honest, I listened to the guitar parts on Prima Victoria, and I realized, okay, I know this one already, so I didn't even practice that one.
Okay.
Because I knew it already.
But when you started doing songs like Atero Dominatus, older songs and stuff, would you be required to play like the original solos note for note, or did you get to do your own, or did you come to some compromise, or how did that work?
It was kind of a compromise because I listened to the original songs.
Yeah.
And then I listened to how Tube played the songs, how we played the solos and how we did certain parts. And I realized, okay, here he plays like the original, so I should stick to that.
Right.
So Toby is one that Tommy replaced. And I think you guys are telling me that Tommy left Sabaton. I think Toby came back, right?
And here he plays something completely different.
So
I could either play what he does or do something new.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, because some solos from the old songs are very, very nice, very cool solos. We don't need to change it.
Yeah.
But then maybe when they're doing something fast, Tube did something different, and I feel okay. I can space out here and do something.
Well, it's nice to have some freedom. I mean, obviously, freedom. You have it on the songs that you are the first guitarist. And stuff. And you know what's surprising? I mean, as many.
So I think you guys told me that Joachim writes the lyrics, for every song, and I think he writes all the music, but I think Parr helps sometimes with the music, or is it he helps sometimes with the lyrics? So if that's the case, when Tommy joined the band, did Tommy write his solo? So did his solos just his? Like Joachim didn't write the solos for him. He just did his own thing. Oh.
Many people will know, especially just by looking at you and by your hair, you come from a smoky jazz background, like jazz flute and stuff, right? So I thought that was kind of cool that they asked you to play guitar of all instruments. You know?
Like,
Yeah.
Hashtag Tommy plays flute. That's a popular one as well, and we can probably get some pictures of him playing flute. But Swedish Pagans, obviously, you're from Norrland.
Yes.
You know, you're a big sort of hairy Viking guy.
Hashtag Viking guy.
But okay, now it's interesting how the world looks at the whole Viking period and the period cover. How would that compare with how Swedes see it themselves? Because the world sees horny helmets.
Well, I mean, Swedes are very proud of the Vikings. That Vikings that came from the north.
Yeah.
Sweden, Norway, Denmark. The Vikings. We're very proud.
I don't know if I'm gonna leave this in the video because it's gonna be a little mini rant. Nah, I'm not gonna say it.
Of what we accomplished, but it's like we don't talk about the bad things the Vikings did, and they plundered and they stole, killed and murdered. So we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We always talk about how big we were and how strong and long hair. And I mean,
we're talking about in Sweden. That's what you guys talk about. Oh, okay.
take a look at the TV show Vikings.
Yeah.
That's how we see how Sweden looks at Vikings today. Like, that's how we were, cool, and we had a cool hairstyle and a lifestyle, and that was so awesome. And then people start to ask us, but you do know that they were kind of bad people.
Savages.
They were murderers, and they
It was
killed
just turning
people.
up saying, "Hi, can we borrow your houses and cities for 300 years?"
Yeah, exactly. It's okay if we take your daughter to this room. There's like 50 of us. Is that okay?
Jesus.
No, I don't think they did that.
Yeah.
No. We don't usually talk about that.
Okay.
But we know that it happened.
But here on Sabaton History, we cover all aspects of the history
I know.
the songs.
Exactly.
I really appreciate that too, how they cover everything. The good and the bad, they're very neutral. That's what I really love about Sabaton actually too. They're very neutral. They just say what happened, the facts behind it, they show you the numbers, then they give you guys their opinions towards the end, but more opinionated about usually what Joachim thinks about the song and how he came up with it and such. But they never really like shame on you for doing this, or like they don't, they stay very neutral.
Tommy, history, we cover all aspects of the history
I know.
the songs.
Exactly.
Well, Tommy, from since I am now a Swede, from one Swedish pagan to another, thanks for being my guest here as one of the best guitarists in Sabaton. I'm so glad to have Tommy, who I call Frosty. Insert photo of why. Right? So glad to have Tommy as a guest right here on Sabaton History.
Glad to be here.
Swedish pagans marching ashore, forced in Valhalla, the hammer of Thor. The Viking ship
Oh
sails.
my god. Is he playing on a tank? Is the drummer on a tank? I've got to start watching more lives. I got to start watching more concerts, man. What are we doing, Sabaton? I know they put tanks on the stage, but I didn't know they played on top of them. Or if they did and I saw it, I probably just went over my head. So I was just looking at a tank and maybe I thought the drummer was in the background of the tank and not on it. This dude is riding. He's on the tank.
The Viking ship sails, never to turn back again.
the light fades away. The light can't even reach the amount of people that are even in the back. The light just gives up. It's like, no, it's too many people to light up. We're just gonna do this many people. There's many people way the heck back. You can see the distance of like maybe cell phone lights and such or something in the back too.
Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you everybody for supporting. And those who don't do it, click the bell, subscribe, and become a patron. Thank you very much.
The Metal Queen. I don't know what that song's about. So that was Swedish Pagans, the history. Vikings. Who would have thought? Oh man. So I really like how, you know, you see in the videos too, how they have their flags up. And this is gonna be a little mini rant, and then I'm just gonna end the video. Not a lot of people listen to the history portion, so I'm only talking to the people who are like, who really like enjoying me react to these videos. It's not gonna be a little mini rant, but it's kind of like something I'm noticing that I don't think is really fair. You know, you see these countries, you know, they get, I mean, it's not really, what I'm saying right now is really regards to, it's more of like a bicker towards me and my own country, really. Where you gotta sometimes just leave the past in the past, you know? You can celebrate things that happened in the past, doesn't mean you're like all for it. Like this, they have the flag, their Swedish flag waving, and Metal United music video, Tommy, they had their flag waving. But in our country, sadly in America, our flag is like spit on, it's done this and that to it, all because of what happened in our past. But every country has a past. Doesn't matter how far you go back. You can go back, we did something bad 20 years ago, we probably did, yeah. America did some bad stuff. We did some bad stuff 300 years ago too. We did some bad stuff, but it's in the past, and that's where it should stay. Like something like this, like outside looking in, people look at Vikings, I mean, we don't look at them as like, I mean, a Viking is like a stoic figure, kind of like a Spartan. We look at Vikings like we look at Spartans, at least for me and, you know, people that I hang out with. And you think Viking, you think of this powerful man, no one's gonna stop him, he's gonna die swinging, glory to be won, and he's okay with that. That's what we look at. We also know about their negatives though, but we don't hold the negatives against them. We're not like looking at, oh well, yeah, but they raped and pillaged and they killed people, innocents, people who were religious, people who were like soft babies in their eyes, just killed, just like that, no remorse, didn't care. But that was just that time and what happened. That's just in the past, that's where it should stay. Are Swedes right now being Vikings, are they doing that? When they talk about Vikings, are they talking about like, oh, what they did, we want to do that again? No, they're not. They look down on America for our past, mainly the slavery stuff. I'm not for it, but it's in the past, it's gotta stay in the past. And the only way we move forward is, yeah, to learn about slavery and to learn about our America's history, but to also really look at the history and look at today. The reason why we're looking at history is to see where we've come from. We are no longer there. We are now here in a better place. We're also looking at that to prevent that from happening again. But people nowadays are just looking at history and then just want to know what happened, and that's it. They don't really care about how it correlates to today, how far we've come today, how different it is, how hugely different it is. I mean, American citizens can't even wave American flags. I mean, damn, I mean, I have a flag. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind speaking my mind, but it's just sad to see the path we're going down. You know, but you know, that was just a little mini rant. Really, it was a mini rant for just mainly for like Americans, really. If there's any Americans watching, because I know mainly people are like Poland and Germany. It was really cool. Got some people from Sweden, a lot of people from Sweden. That's really cool too. I'm really talking about my own countrymen right here. And I really shouldn't be. This is just a reaction. I just want to get it off my chest because that just seeing all their flags, how they're proud, and even though they're, you know, and I'm seeing, I don't know, just so much. It's frustrating. And I wish I could. I had a better vocabulary. I wish I could talk, but I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I have these thoughts. I just can't. From here to here, the translation is lost from the brain to the mouth. But hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I certainly enjoyed the video. I really love the history. I always love Vikings because, like I said, stoic, strong, fearsome. What's not to like about a Viking, right? But anyways, hope you guys enjoy your guys' day. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'll catch you guys in the next one.